Hello. Thanks for taking time today to learn about KC Polylift and the quick, cost effective solutions we offer to not only solve, but also prevent some of the more common concrete related issues you're likely to encounter on your properties. Your concrete structures are a major investment and a vital part of the integrity and aesthetic of your property. So let's start by taking a quick look at some of the issues we see most often, and maybe help you identify them before they become very large, very costly problems. One of the most common issues we encounter is concrete that becomes unstable and moves due to erosion or soil compaction. Anytime a new structure is built, the ground below it and around it is disturbed, and it's very typical that when construction is finished, the ground is now loose and less compact than before. This makes it prone to natural settling, especially if there's a heavy concrete slab or structure on top, and even more so when it supports heavy equipment or machinery. When this happens, your concrete is no longer properly stabilized and it begins to drop. This problem becomes compounded when the ground around and underneath your concrete is vulnerable to erosion, an issue seen frequently in outdoor spaces. As your concrete settles, it becomes weak, bent, and cracked. And in a space exposed to the elements, it can create a negative grade, directing water to all the places it isn't supposed to go. Once that happens, water is able to more rapidly create further erosion and cause serious damage to your structural foundation and surrounding concrete. Standing water also presents a problem to pedestrians, residents, workers, or customers trying to access your property. And it's not just a messy inconvenience. In wintertime, this standing water becomes an icy hazard, creating a potentially dangerous and costly environment. The effective remedy for this, obviously, is treating your concrete with materials designed to melt ice and snow. However, these harsh chemicals, along with the freeze and thaw cycles your concrete experiences as water penetrates its pores, lead to further damage and deterioration. The more that cracking, pitting, and spalling happen to the surface of your concrete, the deeper water and chemicals will penetrate, allowing this cycle to continue. In climates that don't experience freezing temperatures, concrete surfaces should last for decades. But the harsh conditions of Midwest winters lead to harsh results. Oftentimes, we see problems arise when structures such as awnings, interior support posts, decks, and even buildings themselves are supported by concrete slabs and footers. As your concrete breaks and moves, the structures of your property begin to lose integrity, which can turn one costly problem into many, many more. One final issue we encounter, perhaps the most significant, when evaluating concrete conditions is trip hazards. These present a serious risk and liability for anyone on your property. When concrete cracks, deteriorates, and settles, areas that were once smooth and level become uneven and hazardous for foot traffic. And in worst case scenarios, they can become inaccessible for individuals who experience limited mobility. The good news in all this is that there are solutions to each of these problems. You may even have experience with some of them in the more typical options. These include things like tearing out your old concrete and pouring new slabs. And this is obviously an effective solution, and in some situations, it can be the most appropriate option. However, the process of tearing out and repouring concrete is very messy, and it will disrupt access to your property for weeks at a time. It can also create unwanted aesthetic changes when portions of an old pour have been cut and replaced with newer concrete of a different color or texture. However, the largest drawback to this process is simply the enormous cost from beginning to end of the project. Sometimes there are more cost-effective solutions such as grinding and patching, and these two can be appropriate services depending on the situation. However, these cheaper fixes come with significant drawbacks as well. They also change the aesthetics of an area, but more importantly, they only provide short-term benefits. Shallow concrete patches often have a lifespan measured in months, and while grinding off a trip hazard certainly fixes one problem, it creates a new one. As we discussed earlier, when the concrete topping is stripped away, water and chemicals have much easier access to penetrate and create further damage. So again, while these common fixes to common problems certainly have their applications, what we'd like to present today is another option that is both long-lasting and budget-friendly, and it can prevent many of these smaller issues from turning into big problems. At KC Polylift, our goal is to provide full-service concrete preservation from gutter to ground. This simply means that we work with our customers to develop a plan that doesn't just address the symptoms of a problem, but one that gets at the cause of the problem itself. We do this by offering solutions such as concrete lifting and stabilizing, void filling, joint and crack repair, drainage and grade correction, and concrete cleaning and sealing. Anytime our evaluators are called to a property for a specific reason, they're keeping all these other things in mind as well. Not as a way to sell more services or put pressure on our customers, but as a way of providing education and offering them the best remedies so they aren't chasing these same problems again and again. Our goal is to provide our customers with a one-time solution to help them protect their investment and get the most out of this common and important, but often neglected piece of their property. Let's take a quick look at each of these services and what they can do for you.